Hi, so I'm with Hannah Burke today. I've worked with Hannah since she was 15. And Hannah, would you like to tell us where you're going this year with the golf?
My next event's Thailand, so I head to Thailand next week, and then a couple of weeks break before the Women's British Open at Woburn, so hopefully have a nice home crowd. Currently 13th on the Order of Merit, so hopefully build on that for the rest of the year and see how high I can finish.
And you did well in Morocco.
Yeah, 4th place in Morocco, 4th place in France, so
it's
coming along, it's coming along.
Well, Hannah's going to talk to us a little bit today about using the driver. And the first question I want to ask you, Hannah, is about the basic setup for the driver for your average club golfer.
Yeah, okay. So ideally with your driver, you play it more off your front foot. So I always work on the big toe, a little bit wider. So ball position, big toe, a little bit wider, hands on the ball, and let it rip.
Now, you were teaching me a little bit a while ago about the arms can be a bit too stiff with some of the club golfers.
Yeah, you want to keep it nice and relaxed. People tend to get a little kind of really harsh on the grip, and you actually want to be nice and light so it can be nice and free. You want that whip, so you want to be hitting it nice and long. Tight's never good, it's always going to be quite restricting. So keep it nice and soft in the hands, soft in the arms, nice and loose.
And if we were to do it in slow motion, could you just show us step by step at what point you're cocking the wrist and how you're turning with the club?
Yeah, so initially I go nice and deep with my turn, so I'm kind of turning with this right shoulder. So turning nice and deep with the right shoulder, and then cock the wrist up to the top. So that's my full turn there, and then let it go.
Okay. Now, I was taught when I started golf that if I wanted to hit a fade, I brought the right foot back, and if I wanted to hit a hook, I'd bring the right foot forward. Is that correct?
You've got it the wrong way round, but not far away. So if you're going to hit a fade, you play a little more outside, so you're hitting the ball a little bit later, so you can leave the club face open. So you play it more off the little toe, and you open yourself up a little bit. So you're swinging across the line of your feet, so it'll create the kind of side spin for the fade.
Okay, yeah.
And then the other way round, so club face kind of where you want the ball to finish for a draw, and then your feet where you want it to start, so a little bit closed. And then you swing along the line of your feet, so it's a little more from the inside, and then you're releasing it around, so it'll play a nice draw.
Okay, well maybe you could just show us how you would do those with a ball.
I'll go with a fade first. So like I said, kind of club face just where you want the ball to finish, a little more off the outside of that foot, and you're aiming a little bit left, so where you want the ball to start.
And that's just faded lovely, just to the right. Went straight and just faded. And then let's have a look at the draw, yeah.
So the other way round. So again, probably just inside this foot, ball position. You want the club face where you want the ball to finish. And then you want your feet where you want the ball to start. And then you swing along the line of your feet.
So Hannah's just swung along the line of the feet to just hit a draw there. Now, Hannah also taught me a little trick that we can use in windy conditions or if we're playing on a links course.
Yeah.
So could you tell us about that trick that keeps the ball a little bit lower?
You can play it two ways. So one of the ways is just teeing it down a little bit. So you kind of, instead of hitting it off that high tee, you tee it down a little more and just try and stay a little more level. So this way.
Okay, so that ball's kept lower.
Kind of fly.
And am I right in saying that's going to get a bit more topspin?
Yeah, so it'll run a little bit more.
It'll run more. So on a links course, you can keep it low, but you get the run, especially in dry conditions.
And then the trick shot way is to tee it really high, but move it back in your stance. So you're playing kind of a punch draw with the driver. So move it back, feet a little bit left, just to compensate for that club face being a little open on the way through. And then you play the punch.
So that ball is punched low, but the top spin
will run forever.
Didn't spin, it will just run and run. So if you're on a links course, you don't want to be in that long grass.
No.
Okay. So I think what we'll do, Hannah, we'll have a look at those shots from behind now, so we can see the swing plane.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so we're going to watch Hannah hit the driver from behind and see the different swing planes and shapes she creates. So Hannah, first of all, we're going to hit a straight drive.
Yep.
So could you just take us through the setup now from behind?
So it's the same idea. So the ball position is going to be inside your left foot, inside your right foot if you're left-handed. Nice and wide, just more than shoulder width. And again, you want those hands on top of the ball, not behind, not in front, and nice and relaxed.
And there's something you taught me about this right arm. So I used to have a very stiff right arm.
Yeah.
And what was that doing with the ball?
When you've got a very stiff right arm, so you tend to come across, but it also puts your shoulder alignment up. So the idea is you want your feet going, hips, knees and shoulders all point in the same direction. If one of them's slightly out, it tends to put the club face or swing path, it adjusts it. So if your shoulders are open, you're likely to swing outside. If they're closed, you're likely to swing outside.
Yeah.
So you want to be nice and relaxed, nice and square.
And having that relaxed there means I can just sweep through easier.
That's it, yeah,
whereas I
it's
used to be
stiff.
pushing there.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Okay, so let's watch you from behind, just hitting a normal drive.
So down the target line with the face.
Okay, down the target line. Yep.
Inside my left heel, big toe, my ball position. And hands on top of the ball.
And that's about as straight as they go.
Not too bad.
Okay, so let's move now to a fade shot.
Yep.
So if you could just talk us through, again, from behind now, the difference in the setup.
So we started off for a fade. You want to have the club face is going to be where you want the ball to finish. And your feet, shoulders, knees, everything pointing on where you want the ball to start. So the idea is that you're going to be swinging and creating that kind of cut spin. So the ball will start along the line of your feet and finish on where your club face is pointing. So it'll create that nice left to right spin.
And could you just show us from behind the foot setup now?
Yep. So again, I want to be hitting this left to right. So my club face is pointing slightly to the right.
Okay, yep.
And my feet pointing slightly to the left. So where I want that ball to start.
So these feet are going slightly left. The club face is very slightly right.
That's it, open, yep.
Okay, so let's just see that. We've just got the slight fade at the end.
That's it.
Now, I've got a question for you. Sometimes I'm on the course and I go
Yeah.
to hit a fade and it goes like a banana into the trees. Why is that happening?
You've probably overcompensated. A fade actually starts left and comes around to the right. So a lot of people hit a fade and they tend to push it out to the right and then
Yeah.
it fades even more.
Yeah.
So the idea is actually that you want your start line correct. So if you've got to go round a tree, you want to be starting it left of that tree and fading it round to the right side. So it's usually your start line. You tend to push them and then fade them more and they
Yeah.
go even more.
Yeah, I know that.
Especially if it's windy too.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the hook now. I find this quite a tough shot.
A draw, yeah.
A draw, sorry. So I tend to get closed in on
Yeah.
the ball. So how do I prevent that from happening?
So again, it's kind of the opposite to how you'd hit a fade. So you actually want the club face pointing where you want the ball to start and your feet where you want the ball to finish. So the idea is that you're swinging along the line of your feet, so you're coming slightly from the inside with a closed club face. So it'll start right, and then again have that right to left spin on for the draw or
Okay.
hook. Yeah.
But what we're not trying to do is close that
No,
face,
no,
because it's
you're
going to
doing-
shut off, isn't it?
Everything is done in the setup, so you don't have to do anything when you're actually hitting the ball.
Yeah.
You want everything
Yeah.
to remain neutral. So the idea is that you're swinging just along the line of your feet and shoulders, how you've set up. You don't have to turn your hands anymore because that will tend to then create this duck hook,
Yes.
which
Yeah,
you
it's
don't want.
going-
So again, you want the start line to be down your feet for a draw, and the club face being slightly closed will do the work, or well, closed in comparison to your feet will do the work of the draw.
Do the work for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's have a look at that.
So starting with the club face, you want it going left where you want the ball to finish,
Okay, so club face just going a little bit left.
and then the feet where you want the ball to start. So we're trying to start it right and move it left.
And that ball is just drawing lovely. First time, well done, Hannah.
Thanks.
First time.
I hit a natural draw, so that one's a lot easier.
Yeah, I promise you that was first take. Okay, the important thing is though, So you're letting the swing do the work. We're not trying to manipulate the wrist,
No.
we're not trying to manipulate the club.
No, not at all. No, everything is in your setup. You just then need to swing and let it go.
Okay, now my favourite, I call it the trick shot with the driver. So we're going to hit the low runner. It's windy or we're on a links course.
Yeah. So we're going to do the first one with teeing it low. So you move the ball position back a little bit. So you're hitting kind of, well, not down, because when you hit down it pops up. You're just a little more shallow. So instead of hitting a driver on the up, you're kind of hitting it slightly on the down, nice and shallow, nice and neutral. It'll just pop it forward and run, topspin run.
Okay, so we're going to get a shallower take back now into the ball.
So teeing it down a little bit lower. Everything's square again. Just going to move that ball position back a little bit and then keep it nice and shallow.
That's beautiful. And when that lands, that's going to roll, roll, roll.
Keep rolling, yeah.
Yeah. So that can almost go as far as a normal drive, am I right in saying?
Yeah, it tends to fly a little bit less, so in the air, carry-wise, but with the topspin it'll roll out a lot more.
Okay, and the other way you can do this now?
So you tee it up high. This is more of a trick shot version.
So that's teed up higher than the last one?
Teed up nice and high, higher than how I would usually have it teed up. And then I move it back in my stance, so I'm hitting it more off my back foot.
So it's off the back foot now, which
That's
I
it.
never thought you could do with a driver.
And you want to just point your feet left, because when you move the ball back, the club face comes in and it's slightly open, so it goes to the right.
Yeah.
So you just want to counteract that by aiming a little bit left, so still get that straight shot out of it.
So you're aiming a little bit left with the feet,
that's it.
and the ball's going to go out to the right and come in a little bit.
Yeah, that's the idea. Nice and low. Oh, left it out there.
There's a little bit left, but it's kept low and it's rolling. So let's just try one more.
So tee nice and high, off that back foot.
And that's perfect. So that's
It'll
just,
run forever.
that's still running.
Yeah.
Gone over the mound, we've lost sight. So that's fascinating, isn't it? That shows that we can hit a driver more off the back foot.
If you want to,
We don't have to sky it if there's a lot of wind.
Yeah.
We can do this to take the wind out of play
That's it.
and still get distance with the driver.
Completely, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Hannah.
No worries.